Hello, good evening, everyone. Yet again with another tech thinker on this Saturday, the last Saturday of 2023. So, you know, as I keep on saying, while you enjoy your cup of coffee, tea, evening tea time, along with some light snacks, and I know there will be some party time later tonight, but uh, this is the time when we catch up with you and we bring in one or the other tech thinker who a thinker who has been or has played a role in the technology evolution and technology journey of India or otherwise also. And today I have with me Manu Seth. Manu Seth is a technology, I would say, strategist, marketer, as well as someone who has been instrumental in setting up lot many brands in India and in the neighboring regions. And today again we'll have a candid interaction with Manu to understand what the journey has been, what's there to learn for youngsters, and how the things are evolving. Welcome, Manu. It's really great to have you on the show.
Good evening, Faisal. Thanks for having me on the show. And I think you rightly said it's the last Saturday and some time to think and ponder over technology that how we are entering 2024 now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think 2024 is going to be exciting because we are seeing really the consumerization of AI picking, and that's really something which keeps us all in the technology domain excited about.
No, and even before we go further, I would like to say one thing, or I would say congratulate you on putting the name like tech thinker. So I'm sure we all have been in many decades. Technology is something which is thinking. So you are saying that the tech is thinker. So it's prompting, is changing, and is evolving. I would say minute by minute, somewhere in the world, something is happening. So it's completely on the thinking role. It's completely. So I think the name goes absolutely apt, and I wish you all the best for the show, that
Thank
you
you.
really try to bring some good value in this whole domain and the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I always believe, somewhere there's this thought that technology is obviously it's a non-living thing and it doesn't have
Yeah.
emotions, doesn't have feeling. But while, we were conceptualizing this, so I was sure that, okay, let's have something like, let's humanize it.
Hmm.
We want to show that okay, there is tech, but there is a thinker behind the tech. So it may not be a direct living thing, but it does, it is humanized. So don't be
Correct.
at times very against tech. Anyways, Chairman, I wanted to start this conversation with like you have been a marketer of technology for over a decade, okay, and you have marketed products back long time ago when dynamics were different, and probably today things have changed completely. I think uh, earlier it was more about discovery of product. Now I don't know where it is today. So how
Hmm.
do you see this change in marketing of technology?
So I think it's a brilliant point, Faisal. I would say yes. Over the 2 decades time, technology was something which was like alien. In our times we used to see some kind of fictional movies and animations. So we used to say, "Oh, technology can do this. Oh, can technology do this?" Now, if we talk about today, people are worried, oh, technology is eating this, technology is biting this, technology is eating my job. So I think the perspective has completely changed. And a very nice thing is, I would say that the technology, while it is evolving, it's getting commoditized now.
Hmm.
And I think the word commodity is a broader word. Yes, it will have a different relevance in a different context. Case by case, we can understand it, and it is evolving. But what I intend to say with the word called commoditize is beyond monetization, it is impacting human lives now. Now,
Hmm.
technology, I think if you count the alphabets in technology, those are the kind of domains beyond which technology has gone into. Earlier technology was only like or some dominated role played by one individual in the family. Today, the kids are more smarter in technology, and technology is going beyond electronics. It's getting into education. It's getting into, I would say, health, medical, consumerism. You name the subject, technology is bridging into it.
Hmm.
So yes, technology has completely evolved. And I remember the way old times when it was all old operators, we used to think, can there be an option we can talk to two people at the same point of time? So it has evolved from a landline and a tapping phone to everything just coming with finger. Like touch a finger and you are in the world.
Yeah, you just took me to some time back. Those days having a conference call was something. It was a magic that you had three people together on a call. Now
Yes.
today you can have thousands of people on a video all together.
Yes.
So yes, yes, times have changed.
And it
Manu,
was like
yeah.
months and days. Oh, I have to talk to some of my relative in US or in international. So you have to book a call, trunk call, international calls, and okay, you are in the waiting queue. So like, sir, आप अभी line में हैं, things are evolving, and that's how the times have changed. It
Hmm.
has gone beyond boundaries. So now with technology, there is no boundary. Everything is on a common plate. Like anyone can say world is my stage. Now what role do I play? Am I an educationist? Am I a doctor? Am I a lawyer? Or am I into infrastructure? It's like a different use case. That's how the
Hmm.
technology has got commoditized now.
Absolutely. I was in the morning, I was talking to a business leader and we were, getting nostalgic about technology. And we were, remembering those days when you used to dial up the internet and that very peculiar sound of dialing up. And, those were times. And today, I think, you know, our children and younger generation can never kind of correlate with the kind of transition probably we have seen in the last 20-25 years.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Manu, I'm very personally I'm very nostalgic with one of the brands which we were associated with. The brand is HTC.
Okay.
uh, it was ahead of times brand.
Hmm.
If I look from the design philosophy HTC had, today
Yeah.
brands are talking about sleek phones and
Hmm.
very design,
Yeah.
quirky phones. HTC had cracked it long back, okay, and at the same time it was doing phones on Windows. Those days we had a Windows platform, and it
Hmm.
was also getting into Android. So did anything go wrong? What went with that brand? It always remains a mystery, and I'm very curious to know about it.
I think it's an interesting topic, and it's a good engaging. So, see, like even as you said that, I think I would say I've been blessed, and a lot of faith and trust has been emphasized by the management organizations and the well-wishers as a community on the other side of the table, people like you and other friends and partners. So, like, played various roles as sales guy or as a marketer guy or as a strategy guy, and then setting up technology. Why I said so, because see, technology, one thing what we have learned over a period of time is a constantly evolving thing. If I don't keep up the pace with what am I doing, and I don't try or am I able to monetize it to the last mile, that's where I start losing connect. So now in this line, there are many ways where we can look at the answers. And you rightly said that one statement which you said ST was way ahead of curve. So which means that it was proven in the market that HTC was way ahead of the curve. Whether even at that point of time, I'm sure we all we conceptualized lot of technology programs with other fellow colleagues, with you and all in the industry, and we started a concept of giving a hands-on experience on technology. Now people started talking about the influencer community got built up, the blogging community got built up. Why I'm saying all this is, see, when HTC was bringing these line of products, so market was also evolving.
Hmm.
Now someone comes up with new ideas, like we were talking about bezel-less phone, we were talking about full metal body, we were talking about one unibody, many things, many evolutions. If I am not able to capitalize it over a period of time, I will lose the race.
Hmm.
So, yes, HTC did many things right, but there are certain things where other fellow competition brands did it more right. Like we were the first one to bring stylus. No
Yes.
one knew what stylus is, and I really appreciate. Like I remember wherever I was putting up a booth, Samsung was trailing me. Like agencies used to say that we have a blanket mandate. Wherever STC is putting a booth, you have to have a Samsung booth. Now, the edge that Samsung took was, and I really appreciate that, was a game changer on Note 2.
Hmm.
They completely evolved that industry. So, which means we were the bring person or an organization bringing the technology, but they commoditized it.
Hmm.
We lagged in commoditizing. So, we brought a flip phone, we brought a 3D phone, but we couldn't capitalize. So these are certain learnings, and that's where when we talk to fellow colleagues or the industry now, it's very very important that if we are not able to capitalize the technology and sustain it now, because today these words are very generic and very frequently used English words, sustainable and scalable, but it takes a hell lot of life to go deep into them. So I think that's where we miss the boat. And with the Chinese coming up in the market, they understanding the market, going more deeper, and then there are various permutation combinations. So the whole essence is that if you don't maintain the race, and if you are not persistent in that, there is a possibility that the second runner or the third runner can be the winner. There's
Hmm.
no doubt that you can stop them. No. So you have to be very very watchful, because the way technology is evolving, it's evolving day by day. So we got best of the phones, we got best of the experiences on window, we got the tab, we got the stylus, we got foldable, we got 3D content, but we couldn't capitalize it. So like even I would say towards the fag end, I think if I'm not wrong, it was 16 or 17, we started doing commercial venture for virtual reality. Now, only the pro segment would know that HTC Vive as a product is far even
Hmm.
better than Oculus or a
Right.
Google glasses. But Google and Facebook, being a big banner and big organizations, they capitalize it much faster than us. Today, there is no product to beat even HTC Vive, even until now. Even until now, like it has been 6 years. But the point is that if an organization or any institution, I would say, they are not thinking long term with the evolvement of the times that is happening, because the consumer is changing. See, the consumer buying pattern is changing, the consumer
Hmm.
behavior is changing. Earlier there used to be a loyalty. Earlier there used to be like, you buy one big TV, it's like okay, the next generation will buy. You buy one smart big phone, or when you get married you will get a phone types. So now it's like everyone is changing technology every day. The
Hmm.
average lifespan and the stickiness on the phone is like gone down to as small as like 10 months to 12 months.
Absolutely. Yes.
So those was, if I was to sum up in one line, like I would say, if any organization, we don't try to commoditize till the last mile. Now that last mile has to be the channel partners, even the value for money for the consumers, because market is evolving. Someone else comes up, they try to channelize the market. Now, someone will call it as an ambush marketing. Someone will say, "Oh, you have dropped the price." But I think that's the business rule. That's the fundamental of business.
Hmm.
So you need to catch a pace with the changing time. Otherwise, you get either derailed or you get left behind.
So yes, I think that's a learning, and that's what we are trying through this, tech thinker, for emerging professionals to understand, as well as students, that while you got to be a great opener, but then you need to be a consistent player also. That's what will keep you. Even if you may open up with some great products ahead of time and innovations, but eventually you need to be consistent somehow in your communication and outreach.
Correct.
Okay, so Manu, fast forwarding to 2023, 2024, are there any two, three technologies that really excite you and you feel like wow about them, and you see, okay, wow, what kind of impact are they going to create on the world?
Mhm. See, I would say, uh, from a perspective of technology, See, the use cases are going to be many.
Hmm.
Now, 5G, when we talk about 5G, is the one which will bring about, I would say, changes and transformation across various sectors. So I would definitely first start from an operator side, which because that creates a pipeline, that creates a platform, and then comes to the use cases which are in the form of devices. Now, when it comes to devices, it's not only restricted to a smartphone manufacturer like Apple, Sony, Samsung, LG, HTC, Vivo, Oppo, Realme, variety of brands, local brands, international brands. Even the way technology is merging into education, like we talk about smart education, and I would say the way technology bridge into education, pandemic has been a real example. The way our kids and the way the education machinery has run, I think that's a commendable job they have done. Like all our kids have done their, I would say they've crossed 1 year ahead with their exams and everything, which
Hmm.
was not possible before. So, to your point, the way the technology is changing, definitely first 5G will bring the change in terms of the platform. Then the so-called world which we are all talking about, IoT, IOC, IoE, Internet of Everything, Internet of Connectivity, Internet of Things. Those things, when you have some use cases, will bring the change and the adversity in the market. And the most important thing is because today's consumer is going for convenience. Now, convenience comes at a cost.
Hmm.
So there will be a different price brackets, different price offerings by different operators. They will now segregate and bucket their consumers as per their ARPU. Even if you see the ARPU has gone up, like we all have been
Hmm.
in these industry for decades, there has been a time where ARPU was high and then dipped down and has
Yes.
bounced back again. The ASP of the devices was high as $400, $500. It it dipped down to like as low as $70. Now it is back to at $256. So what I'm trying to say is that with this journey of cycle, the used case, we may use all the words like 5G, ML, AI, AI is creating worry, ML is creating worry, but see, it is all about data analytics. So I look at from a lens and a perspective that today the market size is increasing, the pie is increasing, the population is up there worldwide. Like if we look at these three continents, India, China, Africa, they're almost 45 to 47% of the overall world population. India is on the helm of affairs of everything. You talk about economy, you talk about technology, every international brand is here on the first spot. So
Hmm.
those used cases from an Indian market perspective is very very important, and all these things will play a very instrumental role like AI, ML, because they will play largely on the data, they will play largely on automation, they will largely reduce certain work but enhance certain other work culture. So it is not that they are eating jobs, they are, yes, wiping off certain basic necessities which was consuming time, or there was a manpower which was required for that, but now a skill set based manpower will be required to leverage that data, analyze that data. Because if you
Hmm.
have enough of data and you're not able to capitalize, then even your plans go haywire. And then it boils down to your business economies, P&L, top line, bottom line, and all those business discussions start rolling in. So, future wise, I feel virtual reality is still far off. Driverless cars and all those automations are still far off. It will take its own time. But I think the first use cases that will fall beyond mobility, like mobility was all about calls now, because we have everything on that screen, right from your entertainment to your personalizations, your banking, everything is there. So the technology will make more use cases in terms of reaching to a larger masses with education, with medical help. I think that's where the lot of transformation we will see, because there are a lot of ecosystems and infrastructure development. So I think those use cases will be a practical example of the new technologies coming up. Because if there
Hmm.
is no use case, like today we are talking and doing a part of some forums where we talk about 6G and 7G, that's more of academia, that's more of academic. But even 5G, when we say, oh, we are in the center of Delhi or in the center of Mumbai, still 5G doesn't work. See, still operator gives you 3G slash 4G slash 5G. So the point what I'm trying to make is that, see, technology will keep on evolving. There are some people who will keep on thinking very future, very
Hmm.
like they will all your machines will become like a virtual thing. Like you play with fingers, you can create a screen. You play with fingers, you can create a keyboard. But the point is, certain technologies will be quite expensive. Certain technology will be priced in the mid segment, and certain technologies which can really evolve the masses will be the game changer. Because that is
Hmm.
where the affordability will come. Because see, India is a market, our GDP is not that high, our ASPs is not that high. So our affordability of those technology is going to be definitely different if we compare it with Sweden, Norway, Finland. I think that's not the right comparison. Their market
Right.
dynamics are different. Our market sizing is different.
Yes. You know, I somewhere like to or love to kind of look at all these technologies which you just now talked about. Although this, I bucket them as human-less technology systems. Okay,
Mhm.
uh, those fantasize us a lot. Okay, but I think we are right now at the cusp of what I say the reverse, which is less human intervention technology systems. Okay, technology systems or solutions. Now that is something which is probably exciting, and I think 2024 onwards we may see a lot of such technologies coming to the fore for consumers to use, and eventually that journey will start where we see more it getting onto the humanless kind of the side. That is probably the journey.
No, you are right. And see, today, when we talk about technology, I'll take an old example and give a relevance to what you said. Uh, Technology is trying to bridge the convenience for the consumer. So,
Hmm.
let me give you one example. Way back, almost, I would say, yeah, 15, 14 years, some of our team members, we very less, but tech guys and the people on the field, they used to move with a device like this. What we were doing, we were working with Google at that point of time to work on the Google Maps. Now, Google Maps has created a complete industry for all the things like Uber and all those fleet drivers. And there are
Absolutely.
many unicorns and many startups coming up. Now,
Hmm.
the other thing is, now with your phone, see, there the machine is learning and even tells you 40 minutes to your home, 50 minutes to your workplace. Now, when you travel, it shows what you are browsing. So, if you're browsing more on food, if I'm a foodie, it will show me those pizza outlets, burger outlets. If I'm looking by chance a medicine outlet, it will see what is happening is technology is bringing the convenience at a cost. Now, with
Right.
someone, the model is stickiness to that consumer. Like
Hmm.
you can't go out of a Google map now. You can't go out because there are multi-dimensional things working around it. Even industries are working around it. Now, when we talk about AI and data learning, now a lot of automation, like when we talk about media industry, we say programmatic advertising is happening, like digital space, Facebook
Right.
evolving, Instagram evolving. Now, what is happening? There is a huge consumer base which is browsing second by second. So what
Hmm.
is happening? There's a skill set. Earlier, I used to spend time to manage the stickiness of a consumer. The strategy used to be done. Now we know that these are the number of people. This is the age. This is the gender. This is the segment. You go bracket by bracket. Like if you start browsing a Merc ad 5 times, and if you're an Audi user or a BMW, suddenly the pop-up as a follow will come to you.
Hmm.
So you said right, it is humanless, but I look at it in a way that technology, and that's where I felt and I said that technology thinker is a very nice name, tech thinker. It's prompting the skill set of the community to graduate from a base level to the next level,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like from a
you know
base level to the next level.
you interestingly touched upon another point. Maybe a decade back we were just marketing technology, but now we have started also leveraging technology in marketing. Okay, there are
Yes.
lots of, so how do you see that space evolving, like for a young professional? What are those maybe two three things which one needs to keep in mind?
No, I think that's a brilliant perspective you're touching. I think I would recommend they should not jump to conclusions very quickly. Now, there is a flip side to it. The flip side is you just sit in a room in a cubicle and you say, technology will give me these advancements and the job is done. And you make a presentation and you blow on your numbers. But when you go and hit the ground, you are screwed up. The numbers and the realities are very different. So,
Hmm.
yes, you used it very rightly that we are leveraging technology for marketing, for sales, and other things. But still, the retail and the last mile on the ground. You see, India is a very emotion market.
Hmm.
emotion, full of emotions. We want to go for shopping, but we will still browse, touch, feel, but we will still not buy and come back. And still on the shop, we will open up the Amazon or the Flipkart of the world or the e-commerce of the world and say, "Oh, यहाँ पे तो भैया इतने का है, and you are giving me this." What I'm trying to say is, now if I leverage technology and I say that, okay, I'm a marketer and I've made a plan and I made a strategy and my numbers will happen, and I drill down the targets that, oh, this percentage, 25% of this, 10% of this, oh, number will happen. It won't happen. They still have to be connected to the ground. That's the
Hmm.
beauty of this India as a market. Trust me, it's the beauty which is not there in worldwide, neither in market like Dubai, neither in a market like China, neither in a market like US is way off, though they are way ahead. But like a market like India, it's a very good testing ground. It's a beauty of this market that
Hmm.
still you need to leverage technology for making your sales numbers, strategy, marketing plan, but still you need to go on the ground. Just sitting in a cubicle, like a lot of media agencies now are leveraging technology. There is an outdoor. I remember long back we used to talk about when the car crosses, the wiper starts moving on that outdoor. So like sensory things were coming up. So the word immersive is coming up. The word, I would say, experiential marketing is coming up. The word is sensory sales is coming up on the retail last mile. So that
Hmm.
you sell experience now, you sell benefit. You can't just pluck a number in the cubicle room and say that, oh, my sales target will happen. No, you have
Hmm.
to be on the ground. You have to see the market dynamics, because the way even the retail is evolving, people are evolving with experience, touch and feel, layout, clutter format. We have all the price segments in our market. So when one key or two, three key bullets for these young people when they're making up their business plans, or they're planning for their sales numbers or planning for the profitability apart from the campaign, I feel that now marketing is playing as a role to generate revenue. When they
Hmm.
generate revenue with complementing sales and experience, that is how the whole business plan will come up. No individual can work in silo. कि मैंने तो
Hmm.
I made the best campaign, इतना like आ गया. अरे, what do I do with the likes if it is not helping me in conversing of my experience of the product? And if my touch points on sales is not there, my campaign goes for a toss. And if in touch point my experience is not there with the consumer, my sales is lost. So
Hmm.
it has to be a unified plan. Everyone has to work in tandem with each other,
Right.
complement towards the common goal and the objective of that vertical or that BU or that product or that SKU. It will vary. There will be the
Hmm.
multiple hats which we can change. But what I feel is that it has to be worked in sync, and then all using the various things like latest technologies like AI, machine learning, which will complement to your tools. So
Right.
they have to integrate. Integration is the most important thing.
Yes, you touched upon a very important shift, which is like the marketer or the marketing head is probably shifting from someone who would spend, would have budget to spend,
Yeah.
but now has to think like a proper P&L activity. Okay,
Yes.
what is the return? Okay, if I'm spending 1 rupee, what am I getting in terms of sales? How will it speed up sales? That's a shift. Earlier there was a complete disconnect. The marketing guy would spend, and okay, it was then on to someone else, that responsibility. But now I think becoming more accountable over there.
No, absolutely. So, like when you say when young people are coming up, so someone says, "Oh, I'm the marketing or I'm the sales guy." So when the meeting happens with the BU or the one who is owning the PNL or the EBITDA, will ask sales guy. He will say that, "Oh, the marketing guy did not supported me. The campaign was great, but it didn't help me." So the point is that as a BU head or a vertical head or the EBITDA responsible guy, I can't let all my different gears working in silos. They have to
Hmm.
work like a unified gear system now. If anyone loses, I lose out,
Hmm.
because consumer is smart, consumer is spoiled for choices, convenience is coming at a cost. Now someone has deep pockets, small pockets, it's like a chicken and egg story. We'll never have a right answer, but whatever we are doing the best, and various things at the last mile, in terms of, I still say that retail works the most important thing, experience works the most important thing, touch and feel works with Indian market. Like We say any of the great campaigns you pick up, whether it's from Google or even from Apple or even from HTC or even from, like you talk about an automotive companies, when they
Hmm.
advertise, they're touching humans now. They're
Right.
talking about safety. Even a tire ad, like a TVS guy advertising and saying when the tire bike jumps on a bumper, the pillion rider doesn't fills off. So like,
Hmm.
see the connect. There is no connection, but they're stitching the story so neatly and nicely that everyone is coming to the convenience, safety, and that emotional aspect of the consumer. That's
Hmm.
the center point. So you rightly said, like leveraging technology for my marketing, for my sales. Like a lot of new concept in sales are coming up where you have automated reports,
Hmm.
so that streamlines the sales guys time and efficiency and effort. The idea of giving him those trends, analytics and reports is to enhance his productivity. So this
Right.
is how I feel that the time is gone that one shirt will fit all. No, it has to be a
Hmm.
customizable solution with technology
Yes.
for various segments of the organization.
Yes, and as you rightly pointed out, like this BU has this unification as a responsibility. Cannot afford to have people responsible for different functions working in silos. So there again, technology is that unifying force. And long back we had a concept of unified communication. Probably now we have unified business as a concept in technology.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Coming on to the other side, where you have spent a lot of energy over these years, is helping brands go, I would say, borderless, go beyond borders.
Hmm.
So tell us something about what is peculiar about international business. How is it different? How does one really strategize for it? Especially times now where I see a lot of startups wanting to expand into other markets. Then there is government push also that we should be having brands exporting out of India in technology, if we talk about. So how is international business altogether different than doing a business in domestic territory?
Perfect. So, from a technology perspective, I will break it into two pieces. One is the software piece, and one is the hardware piece.
Okay.
Software piece, why I said so, because see, we have been the biggest exporters of the software services out to the outside
Hmm.
consumers, countries.
Hmm.
We have the best of the names. We are our UPIs, NPIs. A lot of best things are getting replicated. Even Tatas are getting orders for various other countries, and we have been always the hub for various other reasons in terms of cost and everything for the BPOs and the KPOs. And now the things are evolving in terms of SaaS based platforms, so
Hmm.
that you can put the right remote controls at the back end with key defined dashboards, and you can offer those software services. So for software services, I would say India is definitely on the right pace, running ahead with the curve, and still we are adapting a lot. And you have to give a customized solutions, which is basis the need. I think where we have to work a lot, and that's where the gross margins and the EBITDA and the top line plays a biggest important role, is on the hardware perspective.
Hmm.
And I think that is where we need to evolve a lot. We have come a long way. There are a lot of good companies who are doing good exports, but those handful will not be good enough to comply or suffice the world requirement, if I may say.
Right.
Leave the 100% requirement, even 40% of the requirement is way beyond. See, we
Hmm.
all know about geopolitical situations, the way it is happening. There are good times, bad times, there are rough times, there are a lot of geopolitical things happening. And with this, if you see, logistics and shipping is playing a very, very important role. Like if we go back and say that one continent, as China was the biggest hub for a B2B for the world, now there are
Hmm.
a lot of movements happening. And that is where government is really giving a lot of good benefits, a lot of good schemes, a lot of good PLIs. Yes, I would say government is really doing great wonders at their own pace. We people also have to evolve. We have to think long term. We
Right.
can't think a very short term approach. Some top 10 companies are there who have evolved, who have really grown big. They have also invested not only in money, they have invested in the thought process, they've invested in the designing, they've invested in the tooling. I think designing, tooling and molding is the base, pre-base before coming as a product. That's where
Hmm.
this hardware will come. So when we talk about accessories, we talk about medical devices, we talk about education smart boards, you talk about any segment. I'll not restrict it only to like a mobility as a segment. Like
Right.
there is good avenues to expand in the telemedicine segment. You give
Hmm.
non-invasive products like countries like Korea, countries like Europe. They are willing to come, but they say that we are not up to that standards now.
Hmm.
So I think it is the changing phase. So no one to be blamed, but yes, the way to look at it is that we need to catch the pace faster. If we will not catch the pace faster, we will lose time, because
Hmm.
then the investments in that global region will start happening either in Vietnam or in Cambodia or in Bangladesh or in Sri Lanka. India has a very sweet spot to capture it, and because we have been the best adapters of technology in the world.
Hmm.
Like we hardly now use SMS. We only use SMS, I think, only for banking purposes. But people in US and Europe, they hardly use WhatsApp. They, if you do more WhatsApp, they feel that they you are intruding in their personal life. See
Personal
the
space.
difference.
Yeah.
Personal space. And we are all the time on WhatsApp. Our whole, like people call it on the joke front, is like a WhatsApp university running. So see, the size and the way we commoditize is brilliant. So, on the hardware pace, I would say a lot of Indian MSMEs or SMEs have to really take a step ahead,
Hmm.
graduate more, and identify those buckets. Like when you talk about like a chipset or a motherboard, you need people beyond that also, like who can do the molding, who can supply the components. Still
Hmm.
today, until now, we have to be dependent for the basic components still outside. So what
Hmm.
happens? Now we are doing a smart assembly. So very few people are talking about molding, blow molds, IDH, designing. That is where the turnaround is happening. So is the work happening? Yes, I think a lot of our good partners. I just met them a couple of weeks. Now they're going to see us, and even
Okay.
their US partners are wanting them to sit with their designing in the strategy team, which
Hmm.
means that we have started making that mark. So we have started scratching that surface, but we need more people to scratch that surface and take a bigger pie from the world, because there's an opportunity. And that is where, when this hardware piece will jump in leap and
Hmm.
bounds, that is where our exports will pull up. That is where our foreign earnings and the foreign revenues will also multiply. And then we will be truly a differentiator from make in India to made in India, and the whole ecosystem will start evolving.
Okay. So now I want to come to another question. Now, okay, there are aspirations. Okay, as an entrepreneur, I may have aspirations of going global, but do you think that each and every product and service can go global? And if it can go global, uh, does it mean that it does not need any kind of maybe customization, or some more additional layer of productization to kind of adapt to those markets? So what is the thought there? Because when I keep on interacting with a lot of startups, the point is everybody thinks like, okay, I have done it in India, I have probably reached a scale. Now I should go Europe, I should go US, I should go Middle East, I should go everywhere. So does it work like that?
Uh, my candid and honest opinion, no, it doesn't work. See, if I'm only looking from a brand valuation and the top line and the funding, it may work. Just to show, oh, I have supplied, oh, I have an office in US, I'm supplying them. No. See, you can have that. I would say it's a good honeymoon period of 1 or 2 years. But what
Hmm.
after that? You lose the battle. You are not. See, that is where our mindset has to change. Why I'm saying so? Because what is happening is I'll come up with an idea in a startup, I'll go back to some third party, and I have
Hmm.
no skin in the game in manufacturing. So I'll say, oh, you do this, oh, if you don't do this, I'll change the manufacturer. Boss, that is not, because it won't work long. Because when I'm at the end, it's, if I'm creating my brand as a baby or my community as a whole channel or as a pie, as a top line in a business, I need to take care of all the aspects. You need to bucket and prioritize your team. That's the reason you see that there are sudden spikes in sales and there are sudden fall. Why there is a sudden fall? Tell me one reason. If there is a sudden spike, which means that there was an opportunity that you catered to.
Hmm.
Now, there is either a no repeat purchase, or your service was pathetic, or your product was not living up to mark, which means now you said that, okay, I touched this 1 million numbers, now I'm out of it, now let me touch the another 1 million number. You will never be in the market for long.
Hmm.
See, I think we should look at a lot of big conglomerates the way we look at, like today when we say handicam, market people says make a handicam. Now handicam is not a product, it's a product category created by Sony.
Hmm.
So people call it handicam. Now in the market, when you go, you say, get my two papers Xerox. Now
Hmm.
Xerox is not a word, it's a brand by Modi. Modi Xerox, when the partnership happened, it was like a
Hmm.
photocopy. So
Hmm.
what I intend to say here is that a startup just thinking, are they thinking, is it right or wrong? There are multiple answers, but I would say yes, they are thinking right. But the challenge is that if they are executing it too fast, then it is wrong, because you are
Okay.
not catering to your local market. You have not even captured your target audience, and then you're just targeting and saying that, oh, let me start doing the market outside, because then you're just doing trading. Because
Hmm.
some startup will say, oh, my TG is this only. So it will all go back on the basic drawing board, that what was your target segment, what was your customer profiling, what was your audience you are looking at, and how much is the repeat purchase you are doing it. So from a product perspective, it is very, very important to take care of your local pie first, optimize it to the maximum, because when you multiply your proficiency and productivity, trust me, your cost of acquisition will go low from a
Hmm.
business perspective. And that is where your gross margins and the GM will go up. If we keep on trading or just transferring products, our GMs will start getting hitting. Why?
Hmm.
Because it will be hit by the transactional cost. And when you look up at your P&L, after every 2 years, 1 year, or every month, quarter, you will see that the cost of taking that product to a newer market is will be more expensive.
Hmm.
Because then there are 10,000 question comes that, okay, do you have a local presence, do you understand that market, have you designed a product for that market? So I'll give you, just allow me 1 minute, I'll give you a very off track example. I was with one of the brands 2 weeks back in UK. They're
Hmm.
having some lifestyle mobile products. Now there was a fellow colleague from Nordics, and
Okay.
specifically working with an operator in Finland. Now, they said that your box packaging is very neat, very clean, but I want a green color in it. Now, what is the essence of green? Because Finland, Norway, that market is talking about climate, energy, conservation. So the government and the operator is focusing. Now, if that comes for India, it has no relevance. So, like, you have to customize and prioritize your product offerings basis
Hmm.
the country. What may be the top priority for them may not be even the last priority for me.
Hmm.
Yes, we are talking about conservation, energy, climate, but it is a while away. It is not the reality of the ground right now. It is happening. So there are multiple things happening. So from a product side, if I start addressing all the multiple requirements, I may not land up anywhere. So I
Hmm.
need to prioritize my priorities. That, okay, these are my 100 priorities. Out of 100, these are my top 10. And out of these top 10, these are my top three.
Hmm.
So for these startups, they have to prioritize that if they have to go to Middle East, if they have to go to Latin America, if they have to go to the US, because US needs all those compliances.
Hmm.
Europe will need those compliances. Packaging in market like Middle East is very, very premium. Now
Hmm.
you are sourcing from the same supplier who is making your cardboard. Now, what kind of a pricing will you do for Middle East, and what kind of a packaging pricing you will do for Europe and India? You will say, the Indian, I don't want to do that kind of high end packaging, which will be a glossy and a laminated one. So at the end, when you're giving a product, like when we talk about beauty and cosmetics, the cost of the packaging is more than the cost of the product at a point of time. So these elements are very, very critical for a startup person or any business person, even for us, to evaluate that what fits in my priority, what is the timing of the market, what audience I'm trying to cater to.
Hmm.
Otherwise, just thinking off the hat will not work right now. There has to be a plan for a plan. This is how the times have changed, because it's so competitive world, it's so quick. I understand there is a need of pressure, there is a need from investor, or the need of pressure from the manufacturer. Everything is there, but we need to be very proactive in our plans for that.
Okay, so you're again here bringing me to an interesting point. You referred to this detailing, and this a lot of this detailing comes through data analytics. Okay, now today we have everyone talking, claiming about data analytics. Uh, but do you see that level of cohortization really happening? Because when I talk to my clients and potential clients and get briefs around research and data analysis, hardly, I think, 1 in 50 cases I will see that this person is coming with a very peculiar cohort. Okay, otherwise it will be very generic. They may you know claim of something unique, but eventually it will be, okay, what's your target? My target is Gen Z, my target is youth, my target is maybe elderlies. So we are still going by those very fundamental demographic segmentation. So what do you see this? What's your view here?
Okay, so it's a very interesting topic, Faisal. I would say I get into a lot of arguments with people on this.
Okay.
So why so? Because see, uh, copy paste on data doesn't work. Sorry if my this statement is hurting anyone. No, what is happening is, if you look at big organizations who really think for the market, they spend money on research.
Hmm.
What is happening is, if I'm a BU, I'll tell my designing guy or the sales guy or the market or the, yeah, just call up your friends and ask for the data. It doesn't work like that. So what is happening is, as you rightly said, like in our times, there was nothing a word called millennial. Now that millennials coming, Gen Z coming in, now every advertising agency is using this word, whether they
Yes.
have the relevance in the industry or not. But sorry, with all due regards to everyone, boss, you're not even close to the ground. You've never gone to the ground. You've just from your cubicle went to the client cubicle, just do fancy meetings. It doesn't work. So, in international markets, I would say that when you look at some global organizations, in India, there are good organizations, but its this number is small, which really spends money on that data accumulation on the ground. We need masses to spend money on that. In
Hmm.
international market, there are larger companies who are spending. They value data because when you see, there are a lot of reports that being get sold out, and people
Hmm.
are not willing to pay. They start networking. यार मेरे को पीपीटी दे दो प्लीज यार you are my friend, you are my this, you are my that. Sorry, but sir, it's fine. I respect that. I understand. So it's like a chicken and egg story. But to your point, if it is a half cooked data, and if I've not gone to the depth of the data with my dynamics, with my product perspective, I'm going to fall short of my targets. I'm going to fall short of my planning on my execution plan on my product in the market. Now that could be a mobility, that could be a accessory, that could be a education product, that could be a lifestyle product. It will go wrong.
Hmm. I don't want to, bring this topic, but sorry to say, I come across these examples wherein, because, talking to potential people whom we look for employment and others. So many of them come from background where, they just Google and find out
Yeah,
an industry number
yeah.
from, you know, credible or any kind of source, and
Hmm.
they say, okay, we check three sources. One was saying this market is worth 30 billion, another said this is 28, third it is 32 billion. We took best of them or average of them, and we prepared our own report. And this kind of data gets sold, unfortunately. People buy it and they present it to investors, and that's when, I think eventually, it goes wrong, because there is no real connect to the ground on such data.
Correct, correct. See, my take and my learning has been, see, the investor's money really multiplies when he invests on the passion of the curator of that idea, not on the data. Because see, data will come and go. Technology is coming. It's see, if I'm passionate about my that idea or the product, I'll really drill down. I'll
Hmm.
experience, like when we were working on those products, like even when I have also graduated from the corporate to the business side, all these are a very different realities on market. You understand that what is the value of the word called SOP. It is important. What is the essence of the word called process? What
Hmm.
is the essence of the word called system? And that's how we all make organizations, and we all have made good teams. And I'm not blaming. I think what is like we have started cutting corners. Could be because of time pressure, could be because of just the pressure coming from the top management, and we just want shortcuts. So shortcuts will not help us. So it's not that anyone needs to be blamed. No, I think it's a mixed match and it's a complete grinding unit. So a lot of good things are coming up, and this is the market which has proven great brands, whether it's technology, mobility, lifestyle, fashion, everything. It's like the hub. A lot of good
Hmm.
talent is here.
Hmm.
We just need to plan it right. And the SMEs and the MSMEs who want to grow, they have to grow their mindset. Because if
Hmm.
you largely see them, the top line is the one and the bottom line is the one who can even never say anything. It's a huge deficiency. So if that metric structure is not built up, that SME or MSME will never become an organization, will never
Hmm.
become a corporate, or will never become a global MNC. Just
Right.
by supplying a product to Harrods or John Lewis, or supplying a product to Walmart or Costco, it's not long term.
Hmm.
You need to have accountable people. Like we use a word called acronym, like I used to say PAP. Like we learned one of our good technology old organizations. So it was PAP. So it was performance, accountability, and productivity. So
Okay.
accountability is very, very important at everyone's level. So to this point, I think I would say this data munching and crunching is important. Okay, do a copy paste to a certain extent, but not to a larger extent. And
Hmm.
don't just jump on your numbers basis that completely, because it
Hmm.
may fall back. Times are changed, because by the time you bring your product to the market, some dynamics with some retrospective thought in mind would have been different, and your
Hmm.
product fails or success. So it's very, very important that when we used to talk about a fabbing statement in our old days of sales, so today is the time where technology has to be leveraged to sell the benefits. That's where you can be a differentiator in the market, because
Hmm.
features are standard. Like there is a difference between innovation and invention. There is a difference. What you
Hmm.
are replicating or what you are innovating. Innovation doesn't happen every day.
Hmm.
It takes time. It has to have a lot of facts and figures. There have been a lot of tests, a lot of reports, a lot of behavior. So I think it's a long journey. But yes, the way times are changing, it's short. But what I've realized is, even decades back was 24 hours, even today is 24 hours, and even many decades further will be 24 hours. We
Right.
need to be more authentic. We need to be more pragmatic in our approach. We need to be more clear and focused on our numbers, plan it right, try to accept that, okay, even if I'm operating in a 1% market, that's fair enough. I should not
Hmm.
create that artificial bubble. There is no harm. If I'm scalable and I'm sustainable and I'm persistent, I'm definitely grow, because
Hmm.
someone will fall off. If
Right.
I'm growing, it's a pie. People are coming and
Yes.
going, and that's the pie.
Yes.
So that's how the shuffle is, like a pack of cards. Shuffle keeps on moving up.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's how I look at it.
Okay, okay. I think very interesting points you shared. In while answering this very question. Now, this also brings me to the end of my questions I had for
Okay.
you. But as I said in the beginning, this is the sign off episode for 2023. So, any word of advice from you to young professionals in these domains, that what they should exactly be focusing on in 2024?
See, I would say that they should be smart as technology as they are, and they should be smarter than technology to leverage technology for the benefit.
Right. Right.
Now that benefit could be anything, could be business, could be personal, could be emotional. So I would just sum up like, be smarter like technology, and we need to be smarter than technology to leverage technology for our human lives at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Manu, really, it was not just pleasure talking to you, but very, very energetic conversation. And I know you are a motivational speaker, so I really could understand why you are so. You can really, I think, make a very engaging conversation and probably motivate a lot of people to think the way you think. I really thank you for being with me on this last Saturday when everybody's already kind of in the mood of welcoming 2024.
Yeah.
Uh, Thanks a lot for being with me, and thank you, audience, for being with us. Those who will watch this later on, again, if you have any questions, any review, any further questions or any comments, do kind of put them across to us, and we will try our best to get back to you with answers. We'll be meeting in 2024, and before we sign off, a very happy new year to all of you.
Thanks, Fizzle. Thanks for having me. And I wish all the best to tech thinkers as a community. And I wish you all the best that the community should grow in leaps and bounds in the time to come.
Thank you, Manu. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Fizzle.
Thank you,
Okay.
audience.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.